Well, 333. Good morning. Finding Global Remedies and Solutions to the Matrix is the title of the video for the 14th of September. I am a registered member of the New Earth Nation, along with several other societies that recognize the values that I hold dear. I have filed all sorts of documentation using various remedies to keep the authorities from stealing my home. I have attempted, when my liberty was threatened or taken, to ask questions, to not identify with my name, and other methods that come to mind in the duress of the moment. I have explored a number of economic proposals, including Bitcoin. I have participated in global meditations as well. I have yet to find a global remedy to the matrix. I can see no solution short of the binding of those who control the matrix at whatever level that control takes place. Any solution will have to be both spiritual and practical, or it is meaningless. If you can sense, as I read that blurb, frustration, you're right. It is frustrating. There have been times when I have discovered a new remedy, and I've said this in other videos, that I was elated, absolutely elated. This is it. This is it. Only to find that the remedy was ignored by those in the courts, by those in the government, by those in the banks and the financial institutions, and even by common people that are pretty clueless about how the matrix works, or even that there is a matrix at all, or even what it means to be a slave to a system. Clueless. I mean, absolutely clueless. Not even awake enough to recognize the problem. So, when we look at the seriousness of the situation, and by seriousness I mean this, we literally are being treated by those in control of this planet as slaves to their dictums, to their will. We march to the beat of their drummer because there has yet to arise a drummer that has sufficient power to actually bind those that run the matrix, to actually put it in order. All you would have to do to bring the world into alignment is start taking the people at the top. And I don't think you'd have to get very far down the ladder before everyone else just started self-preservation techniques and methods, whatever they might be, to save their own ass from the same scenario that they see happening to those above them. All of a sudden, those what's the word that you would use to call these people that actually carry out the functioning of someone else? The functionaries, I guess. The people like in the police departments, the attorneys, the low-level attorneys, the low-level judges, the low-level everything, and the bank managers, the lower-level management. Start taking out the CEOs, start taking out the CFOs. And I'm talking not just about recognized corporations, but even corporations in disguise. Like, take out the President of the United States and the Prime Minister of the UK and Australia and Canada. Take out some of the leaders and the heads of state that are committing crimes against humanity. Take out the Zionists in the central bank and in Israel. Start taking out the people at the top by whatever method taking out means. Now, I am not an advocate, and I've said this again and again, of violence. But those who order others to commit acts of terror, which is what the Matrix is. It is a terror network. It is a network that works by the collusion of certain individuals that want to rule the world. And these individuals go to meetings regularly, the Bilderberger meeting annually, Council on Foreign Relations meeting, Trilateral Commission meetings, the place there in California that they go to once a year, and the Circle of 300, the Committee of 300, and all these high-level things that you've heard about. These are the people, these are where the people who are creating the problems for everybody else operate from. They're not hidden anymore. They try to hide in their ivory towers. They put all sorts of security measures up because they know that people know who they are. Well, they need to be taken out by whatever means. And it requires people with means to take them out. Now, I said in yesterday's video, and I've said it in other videos, that there are among the elite those that want to actually do the right thing. And there are those that don't. I'm talking about ruling bloodlines or the families. Whether it's the dragon family or whatever it is, it's a network of people that have a vision. I do believe that God has placed within every family those that want to do the right thing and those that don't. I don't know why God would place those that don't anywhere. Because frankly, if I was God, I wouldn't. Now you say, Ron, would you not allow free will? Yes, I would allow free will. But I would not allow anyone to operate a system that steals the free will of others, that uses manipulation and coercion and threats of violence. And threats, not just threats, but actual violence, that use this against others. I would not allow them to continue to operate if I had the total authority to do so. I simply wouldn't. But the truth of the matter is, if I have the authority, it's still latent. I haven't discovered how to use it. And I don't know anybody else on this planet that's discovered how to use it. Not the Red Dragon, not the Ambassador, not Mr. Sino, certainly not Tim Turner, who sits behind bars. And by the way, talking about sitting behind bars, I understand Bill Brockbrader was released yesterday. I take that as good news. I still consider Bill Brockbrader, despite all of his detractors and all the people that have lied about him and tried to make him look terrible, he has owned the things that he's done wrong. And he needs to be forgiven, the same as everybody else that has done things wrong, that have been part of the system. He was part of the system, although there are those that deny it. But it's not about Bill Brockbrader. It's about remedies that we're looking for. It's about remedies that work. It's about reinforcing the actual law. Now, I've supported grand jury movements and trials by grand juries that have found Bush, for example, guilty, and Cheney and Rumsfeld and those that did 9/11. I have cheered on Kevin Annette's actions in the court that he's involved in Europe. I support the World Court when it comes to prosecuting criminals that have committed crimes against humanity. But very little of that actually happens. They may be found guilty in absentia, but they continue to operate as free men and women. And this, to me, is a crime that I lay at the feet of the only place I know where to lay it. It's at the feet of Creator or Great Spirit or God or whatever term you want to use, because it is up to God to redeem his children. It is up to God to take the steps that are necessary to bring about a change in the system, the kingdom of heaven on earth, a world that works for everyone, peace on earth. Let the government be upon the shoulders of the Messiah, of the Christ. Let that government appear so that the chains can fall off the people. But if it doesn't work globally, even if people are able to create little societies and little cultures that work fairly well on the local level, until it's global, the matrix still exists, and the matrix to me is the problem. The matrix is what needs to be removed. And the matrix is a system that's set in place by force, not by free will. It is a violation of everything that I believe in and hold dear, the sovereignty of the individual to make individual choices. But there is no choice when you are forced at the point of a gun or the threat of violence or the threat of incarceration. There is no freedom there. And it doesn't matter whether you ask questions. That's seen now as resisting arrest. Asking questions of an officer that has given you a command is considered resisting arrest. That's how it is in America. I'm not speaking of something I don't know. I just experienced it. I just yesterday, again, spent over an hour in the Fort Pierce police station, most of which I was waiting to actually talk to somebody. But I did actually talk to a few people, including the final one who looked at my car door handle and got it broken. But she reiterated to me, Sergeant, I don't remember her last name right now, but she reiterated to me that you are not allowed to question the command of a police officer. You must comply immediately. Lack of compliance is considered resisting arrest, and in that particular jurisdiction, it carries a bail of $750 just to be charged with resisting arrest. And the judge says there's probable cause, even if all you did is ask questions. And I tried to avoid answering to the name when I was in the jail. It doesn't work, folks. I'd like to see Kate of Gaia get in there, get arrested, and see how he is when they use his real name. The name that he was given, that he says they own. He may be right that they own it. It may be true that it worked for him, but it isn't going to work across the board for everybody. There is no remedy that works across the board because people that are in power want to keep being in power, and they just simply ignore anything they don't like. Their whole thing is to get you to comply with whatever they want you to comply to, and they will make it hell for you if you don't give that compliance, if you don't surrender and become the slave that they want you to be. That's the reality that people have to face. And for all of you arrogant people that think you have the solution, I'm telling you, you may have a solution that works a little bit at a time. But no one has a solution that's going to work across the board. And in the financial thing, I've looked at people that have these ways that they could create a network. They could make it work if everybody would agree to it, and it could be universal. The only ones that can make it universal that I've seen so far is the BRICS nations that offer an actual system of alternative finance. Will it be perfect? Probably not. It's still human beings that are running it. But at least it would be an alternative that hopefully would run parallel to the Federal Reserve and the current system to give people an actual option on how to conduct business without being part of the matrix system. And that too would be yet another matrix. It would be. I know that. But we have to take steps. We have to build bridges. We have to go through the process that it takes in order to create something that is global, that actually brings peace to earth. And again, the prerequisite to peace on earth is justice based on truth. Everyone being accountable for his or her actions and put under common law, which is maxims of law based on common sense. It is not the buildup of all the statutes and legislation and acts and treaties and everything else that have been the current system in the matrix. Those are meaningless. The only thing that has meaning is natural law, rights based on natural law, that everyone has a right to face their accuser if they have an accuser, to deal on an equal level with other beings, not one is a corporation and one is a human being, to break the back of all of the so-called contracts that have been in operation in the admiralty law system, to bring it under common law. I mean, there can't be peace on earth as long as the admiralty system of Roman law continues. And that is the system of so-called British common law, but it's not common law. Common law has really, as I see it, only two requirements. Do no harm, do not violate the free will of any other. Period. Period. You do not have the right to violate the free will of another, except that society has the right to punish those who do violate the free will of others, who do cause harm. Society has the right to excise that cancer from the body and to curtail it and to hopefully reform it, bring in actual reformation. That's what penitentiaries are all about, so that you could reach a place of repentance for committing a crime against society and against other human beings, other beings. Anyway, that's my message for today. I want to find a global remedy and a global solution to the problems that we face in the matrix. I want humanity to be set free. I want to be set free. I want to be able to live without fear. And it's hard to live without fear in a world that people carry guns and wear badges and uniforms that represent the authority of those that have poisoned the world. Think about what I've shared. Do your prayers, do your meditations, ask God to bring the answer that needs to be brought about so that all of us can be set free. Thank you for listening. Namaste.